Welcome to episode 6 of Monday BJJ with me, your host, Brian. So, in this episode, a lot of it's going to be at double speed again, just because I had a really interesting experience. For the last few weeks, it seems like things have been going fairly well for me, and I feel like I've been making a lot of progress. And then this evening, it just felt like nothing went right, and I kind of got stomped on. And I want to talk about what do you do when you have a night like that, when you just don't feel like you made any progress. And I think for me, watching the videos is a big part of that, because even when I don't feel like I'm making any progress, I've been back through this video several times, and I can tell that, even here, I'm fighting this choke longer. I'm maybe taking better steps to fight the choke. Even if my approaches are still bad, I'm at least probably learning how to approach some things better. And maybe becoming a little more fluid in some movements, or at least trying to think about being more fluid in some movements, trying to run an escape, and here escaping out the back. There were more possibilities of what I could be doing in my mind than I had before, and so I think being able to reframe the situation is kind of the biggest thing. Just like we do in getting out of the guard or something, where you want to build a frame against the other person and move yourself back, create some space. It's really good to just take some time and create some space between you and the events of what feels like a bad training session, and be able to kind of look at it again. Because one of the other things that I hadn't really considered is, you'll see a lot of these guys crop up in my videos, because they come and train on Monday nights with me. But I pretty much only train on Monday nights, and they train other nights of the week as well. So, part of the reason why these guys are, probably showing more progress than me, and, I might have a rougher time at times against them, is they're definitely building up, more skill than me, at least faster probably. They're definitely getting more experience with live rolling. So even if, I match them technique for technique, the experience that they have in being able to have muscle memory on those techniques is going to be higher. So that's just one of the things that, I try to remember as well, is that, there are people who are, having better days than me, and there are going to be people who are, even as, much or as little as you train, there are going to be other people who train more or less than you do. So you just got to kind of be prepared for, what they're going to do. This is a cool moment where I did get caught in a pretty heavy triangle, but I was able to get a cross collar grip and basically do what happened to me on one of the first nights that I did record, where I was able to pressure down enough on that cross collar grip that I was able to get out of the triangle, because I was applying a choke during my pass. And here this guy is actually kind of helping me practice some armbar techniques. So he's not full on live rolling against me, really. And he's just helping me kind of train some motions a little bit more. So it's not a true live roll in that sense, but he was just kind of like, hey, from this position, yeah, you should have walked through this technique. And the other thing too was that this was a really, really small class. And so the drilling didn't take very long. And so we had more time for live rolls, and there being fewer people, wound up going against the same guys multiple times. And so, like I said, their familiarity with the rolls and rolling just kind of, I think it's, like I said, it really just took a toll on me this evening, because there were, we had an odd number of people, so somebody was going to have to sit out at least a few times. And since I only roll once a week, I don't like to sit out too much. But, tonight I was sitting out, several times, just one right after the other. So, and here I am, practicing some more armbar technique, and he's getting me to do it better because I didn't do a good enough job keeping my legs in front and following along with his hips. That was something we learned about, that if, you let the person basically go in line with your body, like, you're not really controlling their shoulder joint at that point. And something I'd never really had a lot of experience with was needing to keep my foot in front of their face. So that was a new point of technique that I was really trying to emphasize and not doing a good job. And here I am rolling against the instructor, and I try to guard pull and I fail. I guess I still got, my feet kind of in place, but I didn't really successfully get him in my guard. So it's not really a successful guard pull if you don't wind up in a guard, and, preferably in full guard at that point. And so, yeah, he is working on applying a lot of pressure to me and really trying to make me better. So it's kind of the same thing. It seems to be a reoccurring theme with he and I, that he's just going to apply as much pressure as he possibly can and try to get me to tap, and I kind of just try to not do that. So it's a lot of fun, but it's very, very tiring, and especially, like I said, with this smaller class, having to roll with him multiple times, basically go through that multiple times, just really makes you kind of think about it and deal with stuff. And so here again, he's going for his spider guard, and I do this weird gator roll on his leg because I think somehow I'm going to come out underneath. And I think it might have worked if I'd pushed his leg down instead of rolling into the middle of his legs. That probably would have been better. And then here, this guy, I've rolled against him at least once before, but I think here he, since we've rolled together before, when you roll with somebody for the first time, you kind of are both feeling each other out, and, it's like, I don't know, how hard to go against this guy, or you either go gently or you go completely all out. And I think we rolled once before, and so I think he kind of was able to feel me out and say, okay, I think I can put quite a bit more pressure into this guy. And yeah, he definitely, you'll see, mows me over a few times. And it was good stuff. He really put me through my paces, and I had to try very hard against him. I didn't have, like I said, this was just a night where I just didn't feel like I had a lot of success. And I think you could say, well, maybe that's because, one round I'm rolling against a blue belt, one round I'm rolling against a brown belt, and then it's a white belt. And then I'm just rotating through those three, essentially, levels of experience, and I'm at the bottom of that rung. So you just kind of have to understand that you're going to take some licks. But yeah, I think that's just kind of what you have to remember a lot of times, is that, even if I'm rolling at somebody who's the same, belt level or relative experience, I don't want to come into it with an attitude of, I'm not going to learn anything from this person. They're not going to teach me any technique, or, oh, I'm just going to get crushed, and, I don't need to really worry about what's going to happen because I'm already defeated in my mind. You still want to be thinking about, well, what can I do? How can I make the right sorts of movements? And, what are the steps that I need to be going through? And in fact, the more you can think about that kind of stuff, the better you're going to do, sort of regardless of who you're against. And I think that's a big part of it, is having the right mindset going into things. So this episode's kind of just a lot more philosophy and less narration of the actual rounds, just because I didn't really remember much of like the actual technique and like things that happened and worked and didn't necessarily work very well. Hopefully it was still useful, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.